my name is Marcela Oliveira. I'm a student in Rollins College, and me and some other students were trying to show support to the Fair Food Program and the Coalition of Immokalee Workers campaign against Wendy's. So this has been like an issue for a very long time now. The CIW, which is the Coalition of Immokalee Workers, has a big campaign for food chains and supermarkets to take responsibility for how their farm workers are treated. And this specific campaign is for food chains to pay 1 extra cent per pound of tomato so the wages of farm workers can double. So Wendy's is one of the food chains that has not accepted the program yet. So there's a national campaign going on against Wendy's that has been organized by the CIW to try to make them be part of the Fair Food Program. So some other students and I were just here out today to try to do a little part on this movement. In Central Florida, there are no scheduled pickets or any movements, and we just want to show that people here still care about this issue and we still care about Florida farm workers. Well, so farm workers have been explored for a long time, and I feel like that's not news for anyone, but especially the immigration population is very affected by this issue. There's a lot of discrimination within the farms. There's a lot of problems even with slavery. There has been cases where farm workers have been enslaved and forced to work for free. There's like, they suffer under the sun. Many times they're chained to the farms. They're not allowed to leave, and even a lot of farm workers nowadays are homeless because the wages they receive, they can't even afford to live. Many of them go hungry as well. So it's just very inhumane ways that people end up exploring those farm workers, and they're even less protected because they're immigrants. Well, Wendy's and a couple others actually have been very resistant. Publix is one of them, and it just comes down to how much their executive and their corporate heads want to work with farm workers. A lot of them, there has been a history in the U.S. where farm workers and the labor movement has been very put aside and fought against by huge corporations. So it is really sad that they have not been able to see how this can benefit them as well. A lot of other corporations, such as even Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, they have accepted this program and they have seen great results coming from it. It doesn't affect their profits that much. They can get a way better consumer base. The people that buy from these corporations, they can realize that they're doing better for their farm workers, that they're doing better for the people, that they care about these issues. So it is really sad that they have not been very flexible and that they are not seeing that they can actually benefit from this kind of campaign. So the Fair Food Program has a lot of different guidelines. The companies that agree to go by the guidelines of the Fair Food Program, they take responsibility at the top of the supply chain, and they say they're gonna only purchase tomatoes from farms that have good working conditions. I wouldn't say even good, but like humane working conditions for their farm workers. That part of that campaign, and a big thing that the CIW tries to pass, is an extra cent per pound. With just paying an extra cent per pound of each of the tomatoes, of each pound of the tomatoes these big food chains buy, they can double the wages of farm workers, which is a big deal for them because they're living way under the poverty line. Other things that the campaign tries to pass is like women suffer a lot in the farms, so they're trying to end sexual exploitation, sexual harassment in the farms. Other things are just humane working conditions, breaks, water breaks, try to make farm workers work less hours. A lot of them are working a lot of overtime without obviously being paid for overtime. So it's just there's a huge guideline of different practices that the CIW is trying to pass with the Fair Food Program.
And my last question for you is just what can people do to help your cause and learn more?
One thing first is not buy from Wendy's while they're still not being very flexible with being part of the Fair Food Program. If you go to the Fair Food Program website, there's a lot of things that people can sign petitions, they can send letters to the managers, they can try to help the corporate and the executives see that the consumers are also concerned about this. One of the big things that the CIW is trying to do is raise consumer awareness. If consumers are aware, and if they put pressure on the supply chain, and if they put pressure on Wendy's, and Wendy's feels that in their pockets, then there's a bigger chance that they are gonna respect the Fair Food Program and get in line with all the other companies that have already.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just don't buy from Wendy's. Be informed. Anyone can play their part on helping farm workers and help human rights issues. It's not that hard, and just a couple clicks even on their website and signing the petition can make a difference. If you can come out and pick it, that's okay. You can always help just by not purchasing from places that do not respect farm workers' rights.